Welcome back. We have Terry Roycroft joining us. He is with the Medicinal Cannabis Resource Centre based out of Vancouver. There is a new medical clinic coming to Kamloops, but it's a specialty clinic. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what makes your clinic different than the traditional medical clinic.
Well, on the basis, it looks the same. We have physicians, you come in, it's the same process, but we specialize in medicinal cannabis. So that's all we do. So we only treat patients that are tried other types of medication and they haven't been appropriate and they're looking for something that will work.
Okay, so how are you different from a dispensary, a marijuana dispensary?
Well, we don't dispense cannabis. That's
okay,
the primary
no
difference.
dispensing.
No, we dispense education and information. So we are a secondary care facility. So when someone comes to see us, they have to be pre-diagnosed with an illness that they're having difficulty with. And then we will go through the process with them and see if cannabis is a good alternative for them to use in conjunction with the other things that they're doing.
And if it is, how does that work with them getting sort of hooked up with somebody that can help them to get medicinal marijuana?
Right.
How does that work?
Well, what would happen is they would come to us. We would go through the procedure. If cannabis was a appropriate medicine, we would then give them MD support. With that support document, they can go to a licensed producer. These are one of the 20 that have been licensed by the government to supply, grow cannabis under very strict pharmaceutical type conditions. So you'd come to us, we would license you, we would register you with a licensed producer, then they would mail order that product to you within a day or two after your registration, and then you would continue to order over the internet. You can take a look at what their product lines are, and then they will mail that to you.
They will mail the product to you. It comes in the mail.
Right.
Even though it's not legal, medicinally speaking it is, and it comes in the mail.
Right. That's
interesting.
Yes, this is what Health Canada has mandated on when they originally created this program, was the mechanism they wanted to do to supply the patients. Now, you know, obviously there's dispensaries that are popping up who are doing the street level, similar to what a pharmacy would do. Originally, pharmacies were brought into this, but they opted not to support this role because they felt there was not enough information or studies and they didn't want to get involved in it. That is kind of changing now that they've seen things have been changing, and there is definitely a large market for medical users.
Where does this leave you if the Trudeau government goes ahead and legalizes marijuana?
Well, I assume that's probably going to happen. It's happening all over the world. I mean, in the United States, they have 4 states now that are legal for recreational. But in those states, they've all had a medical program to begin with. Very difficult to have people get on board and say, this is a great recreational product until they're comfortable that medically there is benefits to it and it's not injurious to people using it in a recreational way.
Are you surprised we don't have one of these clinics here already? You're mentioning that there was one here. I hadn't heard of the name that you mentioned, but it didn't really get off the ground. Why will you be successful?
Well, we've been doing this for 6 years. This is a very difficult space to enter because of so many restrictions and barriers, one of them being the College of Physicians and Surgeons do not believe that cannabis is beneficial, so they are very unsupportive of doctors wanting to go down this path. Certain provinces across the country even make it more onerous by having doctors having to register. So it becomes a difficult scenario sometimes for patients to find a physician that will support them.
Do you have doctors in Kamloops that are on board with you?
Yes, we do. We have an in-house doctor who, if you come in and see us, we're down on St. Paul Street, right across from the police station, as a matter of fact. And you can come in and see our physician, and he will take you through that whole process. You would first talk to one of our staff members who would do all the intakes, get together your records, and then you would be booked with the doctor, and then you would go through that. You would have a conversation about what your illness or your symptoms are, and he would come up with an appropriate type of medicine. They would then see our after staff, who would then connect you with the proper medical or licensed producer, and we would help you get the proper medicine for your specific illness.
Who is the doctor?
His doctor is Dr. Ian Mitchell. He's an emergency doctor and has been very supportive of cannabis. He also worked with the previous group we talked about, as well as us at one time. And then it just seemed prudent for us to come to Kamloops, introduce our extended services, because we do much more than just help people get their licenses. We help them through various things with disability tax credits, workplace usage, with human resources groups. So we have a lot of different areas that we support that patient in.
When do you open?
We have been open for a couple of weeks already, and we are currently open right now.
What is your address?
It is 564, I believe, St. Paul Street.
So 500 block of St. Paul.
Yeah, right across the street from the police department.
Okay, and it's called the Medicinal Cannabis Resource Center.
That's correct.
How many of these are there across Canada or in BC?
Yeah, well, we've got 3 of them in BC. We've opened up this one. We're opening up in Victoria or Nanaimo. We're not sure where yet. We have one opened up in Montreal right now, and we're currently talking to a group and looking for space in Toronto.
Okay, so to be clear, not a dispensary of medicinal marijuana, but a liaison into the resources that people require.
Right.
And also, I checked out your website. We're probably out of time, but an interesting list of things that your company feels that people qualify for having medicinal use of marijuana. Migraines. Alzheimer's, early symptoms, ADD, all kinds of things.
MS. Restless leg syndrome, IBF, Crohn's disease. Virtually anything that is related to pain or chronic inflammation, cannabis can really be effective for.
Interesting. Very interesting. It's good to know that you guys are here in town. I didn't realize you're already open, so this is good to know. 500 block of St. Paul, if you would like to check them out, you can also go online, MCRCI.com. Thank you so much for being here today,
Terry. Thank you for having us.
So welcome. Lots more Midday to come. Stay with us.